Hello and welcome to Mystical and Mysteries, the podcast. Join your host, Olivia Dybert, a psychic medium mom, as she discusses true crime, missing and cold cases, paranormal investigations, psychic medium development, and much more. Now, let's get into today's episode.
Hi guys, so I am here today to do a quick introduction about what I really want this podcast and channel to be about. And I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to psychics and psychic mediums. And I'm hoping that this is going to be educational as well as entertaining when it comes to like getting to know these cases. And that's just something that I do. I work as a psychic medium on missing cases. I give readings and stuff like that, but my passion really falls in line with those that might be missing if you have loved ones. And so we are going to go through the true crime. I'm going to discuss a case, then I'm going to give you my psychic's point of view. And many of you may not know there are two different ways to work. It's with mediumship and with psychic ability. And when you hear and see the phrase psychic medium, psychics and mediums are two different things. And a lot of people don't realize that, and that's okay. So this is why I wanted to create this venue so that we can learn together. Psychics are people who can predict future, they know about present, and they can tell you about the past. Mediums are the people who connect with spirit. I can do a little bit of both, so that's why I label myself as a psychic medium. And I know there's like a controversial thing about like not all mediums or not all psychics are mediums, and mediums are all psychic. To me, that's hogwash. I think everybody is everything. It's kind of like being right and left-handed. One's going to be a little bit more dominant than the other. So I feel like my strength is really in my psychic ability, though I can tap into mediumship because I have spirit come to me all the time. And the other thing that I do is I'm a little bit of a physical medium, I believe. I absorb pain. So sometimes I can actually feel pain on my body, or I get headaches or mood swings. That's when I usually know someone's with me because I was fine like a second ago. So I'm hoping that not only can I talk about, bring up to the forefront a missing persons case, but I'm hoping that I can also provide you some insight. And if this can help the case, right on. And if I can have roundtables, I'm going to have some roundtables of some really badass psychic mediums. And we all get information differently. And I think that's why it's great to have these roundtables. We all work, whether you're a psychic or you're a medium, we all work with clairsenses. And that is like clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance. Clairvoyance, I think, is the most popular, right? I see dead people. FYI, not everybody that's clairvoyant sees apparition. That's actually a very small percentage of people that are going to actually see apparition. But it does happen when everything is aligned right. So even if that's not my forte, because I really don't see too much apparition, even though it's not my forte, in certain circumstances I will be able to. So we all work with those clairs, and again, 2 or 3 of those are going to be like really strong and dominant, and then the others are like supporting factors. And so depending on what clair we have that's dominant, that's how we receive information. So again, we're all going to pick up on different aspects of a case, and that's why I like working in roundtables, because I feel like we can be more effective. And anyways, with that being said, you guys, this is my like calling. I've been really pulled to start this venue of podcasting and channeling with YouTube, and I think it's going to be a really, really cool educational type of thing. It's something that I think is needed, because with cold cases, sheriff's departments are large. PDs can be large depending on their area. Not everybody is fully funded. Some are low funding police departments. And so it's not like they try to push missing people's cases to the side. It's just that they're so overwhelmed because crime happens, unfortunately, every single day. And so if I have an opportunity to bring someone's case to the forefront, this is what I want to do. I want to bring that case back up. When I'm working on a case, what I try to determine immediately is usually if the missing person is alive or deceased. And you would think as a psychic medium that this would be really easy to do, and it is not. And so you have to be really careful, especially when you're working with families. When I'm working on a missing person's case in general, I try not to work in my mediumship, because I've had in the case of wait until you read, it's crazy, the episode with Alexis Gabe. She kept popping in and blocking me from seeing things, and I'll go into more detail, of course, in that episode of why I think that happened. But I honestly had to ask her to step back. As a psychic, I can see things like in a bigger picture. I can get impressions from the perpetrator. I can get impressions from the victim. I can get impressions by the area where I see everything happening. And sometimes it's like I'm actually there, and sometimes it's like I'm seeing it on TV. And so I feel like I get a more honest reading when I work in my psychic abilities. But every once in a while I get a creeper pop in, and I'm like, so sometimes it gets a little confusing in there. But that's the life of a psychic medium, right? Hashtag. So this is just me. I'm a mom of 3, and I'm not very woo-woo, which means I'm not into like astrology and all that kind of stuff. My daughters are, but I'm not. I don't know too much about it, honestly. So hopefully in this channel as well, we'll be able to like bring people in and talk about all kinds of metaphysical stuff. Because the other thing that I do, and I've been training with Pam Coronado. If you don't know her, she's a badass. Go check out, just Google her, pamcoronado.com. She also does remote viewing, which is something I'm really into. I love it. And it's helped my my psychic and my mediumship, believe it or not. And I've done some really I just had some really cool classes with her and some others that are in the military that have done remote viewing since like 1970. So you guys stick around. I think this is going to be very educational. I think it's going to be great for me to bring up these cases and keep in the forefront. And if you want to share about a case on your social media, please do. These people need that. They need it. They need you. If those of you that are junkies of this true crime, but you feel like you're compelled to do something more, we need you. I always recommend people coming and looking into search and rescue training, because the police departments, like I've mentioned before, are really overwhelmed. So they can't always do these searches in constantly, right? Crime happens every day in our communities, unfortunately. So if you can get trained in search and rescue and start your own search and rescue community, it is so needed. Because when we are looking for evidence, or I mean not evidence, I'm sorry, but when we're looking for a person, the possibility of damaging evidence is really high, and we don't want to do that, because we want to be able to take it to court and not have that evidence being thrown out on a technicality or whatever. So we need to know how to search. You hear all the time, like, I searched that area and I didn't see the body. And believe me, it's not as easy as you may think it is. I had a small area. It's something I do. I had a small area I had to search. And I kept getting landmarks. Again, you'll hear me talk about landmarks because that's what I do. And I get to the area, and My landmark was like a red barn and a silo, and I could see all these other things. Well, guess what? There's red barns and silos everywhere because I was in a farm community. So it's not as easy as someone may think it is. Turning your body in one direction when the other body is right here, you would think it would be something I could see, and especially if it's a cold case. It's not easy. So we need you. We need you in your communities to be active and to help search, volunteer your time for search and rescue. I'm not quite sure who to contact in your community, maybe your local PD, and see if they know where you can get trained to do any of that kind of stuff. But that's it. I hope you guys stick around. We've got a really cool couple of episodes coming up. One is Alexis Gabe, which breaks my heart, and the other one is Patricia Otto. And here's another reason why keeping missing cases, cold cases, up to the forefront is important. I did a reading for her daughter Suzanne, and her mother went missing in 1976. And Suzanne is still collecting evidence. She's finding new information out. And her and I, we've discussed things, obviously. I did a reading for her, and I think we know what happened to her mom. But to have tangible evidence for her own being, her psyche own being, like just to say, here, this is what I have, this is what I can prove. It makes a world of difference. So with that being said, I hope you stick around. This is going to be really cool. Wait until you see some of these people that I work with. They're freaking unbelievable. And like I said before, they are badass. And I hope you stick around for it. Until next time, thanks for hanging out with me today. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Mystical and Mysteries, the podcast. If you like what you heard, then please remember to hit like and subscribe. Have a burning question for Olivia? Feel free to get in touch. You can reach the Psychic Medium Mom at theclaireconnection.com or on Instagram at theclaireconnection. Until next time, stay safe.